Friday from the studio. It's Thursday evening here live from DraftKings at Casino Queen. Without Russell, it's a little hard to get up and running. Trying to play producer here, not doing so well, John. I got here plenty of time. Hopefully, you guys can hear us. We're going to test it out. Make sure you guys can hear us. If anybody's out there watching, kind of send us a chat. Make sure you can hear us.
Yeah. We're on our own today.
We're on our own. Well, Russell.
Producer David.
Oh, hey, it's working. Oh my God, we got it up and running. This is crazy. All right, so I'm so excited. We're actually working. All right, so hey, here it is. All right, so we got a lot to get to today. A lot of neat things coming up. Start with tomorrow on 590 The Fan. Malcolm Darnley and Mike Whistler are going to join us. We're going to talk about how to gamble on golf.
Yeah.
Okay, that's we got it. There's other things going on outside of football.
Yeah. Well, there is no football outside the XFL.
Yeah,
Which the XFL has been entertaining.
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Right? So, Thursday night football. Last week we had lots of other great comeback. But I'm going to talk a little gambling golf. Do with some college basketball. Tomorrow, very exciting.
March Madness started today.
March Madness started today.
Yeah, noon start. Illinois State.
Huge fight this weekend. Micah Mills is going to be joining us here in about 20 minutes. He's going to join us for the rest of the show. Big, huge UFC card. Evan Elder, we're going to have next week. We're going to do a special edition, live edition next Monday or Tuesday with Evan Elder and talk about his UFC fight. So we have a lot going on, John. This is pretty exciting stuff in the world of horse racing. Just give everybody an update. Frosted Departure had the lead at the top of the stretch. He finished off the board, but what a huge run at 36. He went out there, had the lead all the way around, and kind of spit the bit at the top of the stretch, which means he was done. But he went insanely fast fractions to get the lead from the 11.
So he had the lead with how much of the race left?
Top of the stretch. So, this quarter mile run. But he ran so hard, so fast. He had to run so hard to get the lead from the outside post. And it kind of used him up. But he ran a good race, 6-1. We'll see what they do with him. He came back healthy out of the race. We'll see what they do with him. We're going to have one more shot. That's what they decided to do. Very exciting for me. So I'm a little all over the place. Hard to get up and running tonight. All right, let's get into tonight. Arch Madness. What do we got going on?
Yeah, well, Arch Madness started today. We had Evansville, Indiana. Evansville's awful. So, Indiana State was late in a big number. So, they just crushed them by about 40 points, David. Evansville's one of the worst teams in the whole country out of all 360 some odd college basketball teams. Evansville's been one of the worst all year. And Illinois State, Northern Iowa was a pretty good game. Northern Iowa ran away with it late. They were just a better team. I had some action on Northern Iowa, -3.5. Covered that, no problem. Halftime lead, 28-44. So, Northern Iowa took care of business and got me on the cash side. Cashed a ticket on Northern Iowa.
The winning ticket.
Yeah. Yep, had a ticket on Northern Iowa. That was a good one.
So what do we got? Game one?
So two.
This is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Two Arch Madness games started this afternoon. Then we had some action in the Sun Belt, or as I call it, the Fun Belt. The Fun Belt.
It's all fun when you got action, right?
App State, South Alabama.
Anything we get action tonight?
There's plenty.
What time did it
What have been going on today? There's been 1, 2, 3, 4 games that's completed. And there's 2 games going to the second half right now with Patriot League action with Boston playing Army and a Sun Belt game with Texas State and Old Dominion. Yeah.
So
the small conferences start first.
So let me ask you, how does this work? Get into the 64. Does this have anything to do with that?
Yeah, if you win your conference tournament, you're in.
You're in.
Yep.
So whoever wins this is it.
Doesn't matter if you're the worst team in the conference.
That's what I'm asking.
If you win the conference tournament, you're in.
Okay.
So that's what makes it exciting this time of year, is to see those teams that are like ninth in the conference. You know, they may have a record of 10 wins and 20 losses. Can they make a deep run to the championship game and get a bid for March Madness, right?
Yep.
That's what makes it exciting. So that's what we're looking at.
I absolutely love the tournament. We're still waiting to get approval to see if we can do our second annual ticket bracket.
Yeah.
Bracket challenge.
Yeah.
So last year was a big success, and hopefully it will be 3-4 times the amount of people. We have to get approved to give away some prizes. It's looking like in the next few weeks, if we can put that together, we'll get that taken care of. We'll have a lot of fun with it. By next week at this time, I will have everything either approved or not be able to do it, so we'll find out for that if we can put the bracket challenge to the second half. The first one went fantastic. We gave away a championship.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat. So if you get a chance to go to our Facebook page, you have to win a ticket.
Yeah. See who's going to take the belt this year.
Yeah. If we can't do that, maybe we can do something else. Sorry. We're working on it.
You always got to do something this time of year.
Yeah, we got to do something. I'm going to fill out a couple brackets myself. So bracketology, right?
Yep.
We're going to go over that. I don't know. John and I, we're working on a few things to have some special editions and looking on locations. So probably here and somewhere else. Yeah, hopefully Noah Van Brie will be joining us. This is his favorite time of the year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll be hearing from Noah.
Last year, Noah was over 70%.
Yep.
He crushed it. So he gave out a lot of good winners, gave out some big bombs. Long shots out. Bombs away, cash in. So what do we got left tonight to get in action?
Valpo and Murray State. Murray State coming to St. Louis. Valpo's just not had a good year at all. I got a Murray State ticket in myself right now. So we're hoping Murray State takes care of business against Valpo. Valpo's sitting at 11 and 20 on the year. They're 2 and 8 in their last 10, David. So, I'm not sure how we don't like Murray State here. So I got a Murray State ticket looking to cash against Valparaiso. And another team to watch out for when we're filling our brackets out in March, another team to watch out for is a team in the Atlantic Sun. They'll probably be a 14 seed. That's where I would put them, about a 14 seed taking on a 3 seed. That usually happens like once every other year. There'll be a 14-3 upset. And the Kennesaw State Owls, Kennesaw, Georgia. Yeah, the Kennesaw State Owls. Who? Yeah. So the Atlantic Sun. Yeah, I think Tennessee. The Owls. Who? So the Atlantic Sun Conference making its way out here. So Kennesaw State's taking care of Lipscomb tonight. They're up 12-2 early. They're going to blow the doors off of Lipscomb, and they're only minus 5.5 on the line. I thought that was great value. I put Kennesaw State with my Murray State play. So we're looking at Kennesaw State and Murray State. Another team that you always lay a big number with them, but they always take care of business the last 3-4 years. The toothpaste company, Colgate. Colgate's going to win the Patriot League, folks. They're 23 and 8 on the year. They're laying 16.5 against Loyola Maryland today in that conference tournament. So I laid the big number, David. I laid 17.5 with Colgate. It just started. Colgate's up 17-6. They're going to blow the doors off Loyola Maryland. Colgate's going to take care of business. I think Colgate would be a 14-3 seed, possibly. Depending on how it shakes out, we might see a Colgate 13 seed versus a 4 seed. So you might see a 13-4 seed with Colgate taking on 4 seed. And Colgate's going to put up a challenge. Colgate put up a challenge last year against Arkansas. They were just a few 30 seconds to 60 seconds away from winning that game. A few plays here, a few plays there. So look for Colgate to make some noise in March, guys. Colgate's going to win that Patriot League for sure. And another team that's I've got at the top of my list in Conference USA is the Florida Atlantic Owls in Boca Raton, Florida. or as I like to call it, the retirement home. That's where the retirement folks are, is in Boca Raton, baby. So,
Boca Raton, I've never been there.
yeah, it's why it's the Snowbird Retirement Home. It's the Snowbird Retirement Home, Boca Raton, Florida. Florida Atlantic taking on Rice tonight. They're laying 8.5. Lay the 8.5 with Florida Atlantic. They're going to blow another Owls team out in Rice. Rice isn't much of a athletic program. It's more like a starch to me. So
Got to get a new line.
no, that's it. Rice is a starch. There isn't anything good I like about them. So Florida Atlantic's 26-3. They're 26-3. Florida Atlantic is. So
I want to stay a little local. What about Mizzou?
yeah, Mizzou's just up and down.
Yeah, but where are they going to be placed?
I would put them in a 7 seed. I put them in that 7-10 matchup. A lot of people were higher on them after that Tennessee win.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit a half-court shot to beat somebody. Congratulations. But how many times would you do that if you played 10 times in a row, right?
Doesn't matter.
I know. You won the game. Kudos to Mizzou. I'm just saying, I don't think, push the brakes on. Mizzou is don't have much of a defense. They play very frenetic pace, up and down, up and down, up and down. If they shoot 60%, they're going to beat you. But yeah, I'm not as high on them as everybody else.
Well, here's the question: what team are you going to get? Right? Mizzou. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah, they're very inconsistent. That's why I would put them around a 7 seed. It's a wide open tournament as a whole. I don't know who Alabama was playing really good, but now they got the off the court stuff with Brandon Miller and Darius Miles. Darius Miles was the young man that was kicked off the team for a murder charge. Very serious, obviously. And Brandon Miller supposedly is the one that brought him the gun. But, they have to prove that he knew what he was going to use the gun for. Anybody can bring anybody a gun. It's not a crime. But did you know that, what he was going to use it for? So I don't think there's going to be able to prove that. So Brandon Miller's going to remain on the court. Which Alabama's athletic program in basketball is taking a little bit of heat for a lot of, it's kind of split with people saying that he should be suspended until the investigation's over. But, he's probably going to be first pick of the draft. So, they're not going to suspend that guy without any cause. So, yeah. But Alabama's going to be up there. They had a game yesterday. Auburn was killing them all game. It was a 15-20 point lead, Auburn, the whole game. Alabama comes back at the end, puts it in overtime. Alabama wins by 5 in overtime.
Last week, Marquette was sitting at 11th, 12, up to 6. That was my team that I wanted to win.
Yeah.
They're losing value as well.
Yeah.
And I know that you like the Marquette a little bit as a surprise team.
Yeah,
Marquette.
Marquette.
What kind of price we're going to get on them. I'm going to look at it.
Yeah, Marquette's an interesting team because they're playing hot right now, and they're very well coached. I like Shaka Smart. I've always liked Shaka Smart. I thought that when he left Texas, that if my Clemson Tigers ever had a bone that cared about basketball in their body, that they would have went and got Shaka Smart or made a splash. But Shaka Smart's a great coach. Look for Marquette to lock in a Sweet 16. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a Final Four run. Another team that I think is an outside shot to making Final Four run that not a lot of people are talking about is the TCU Horned Frogs. I like the Frogs to make a run, David.
Yeah.
So they're healthy now. They were
35 to 1.
Yeah, 35 to 1 now.
That's a nice price. Marquette is, what are we looking at? 30 to 1.
30 to 1 on Marquette. I kind of like the Baylor
Beginning of the
Bears
year, they
too.
were 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Still 30 to 1's a nice price, right? You could bet both of them. Have a nice. I mean, Houston is favorite at 160, or 650, 6.5 to 1. Kansas is 8.5 to 1. Alabama's 9 to 1. Purdue's 10 to 1. Bruins 12 to 1. Arizona Wildcats 16 to 1.
Yeah. Yeah, they took a heartbeat of a loss last week
Last Sunday.
with a half-court shot.
I was so happy.
Oh.
I was so happy with that, but I have to say I didn't know that Ryan all he needed was Arizona to win cap off 16 parlay for quite a bit of money. And honestly, I could take a loss with 19 because I have no action on the game. And it's a pretty sick way to lose, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sick way to lose 16 parlay. I mean, at the buzzer.
Oh, a half-court shot at the buzzer
by
last
an inferior team.
Yeah,
right?
half-court shot at the buzzer.
That's Arizona's fault. I don't know. Would you say that Arizona played poorly, or Arizona State played well, or a combination?
I mean, Arizona State played a lot better than Arizona did that game, but that's the thing. If Arizona's a lot more talented, they're a lot, they should win the game by, 6 to 8 points or so, and they're at home, too. Arizona's at home. But, yeah, I mean, fluky things can happen. That's, you get that half-court heave, it goes in. Yeah, against Tennessee, they had the half-court shot to beat them. So.
I tell you what, where I was at, that place was crazy.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great win. There's no doubt about it. But I'm not quite as high on Mizzou right now as a lot of people are. It wouldn't surprise me if they make a Sweet 16 appearance. It would shock me if they get out of the Sweet 16 and get into the Elite Eight. It absolutely shock me. I think it would shock a lot of people.
See what TCU is 35 to 1. What kind of seed?
TCU, depending on what the Big 12 tournament shakes out at, I'd put TCU at about a 3 seed. Yeah, I'd put them at about a 3 seed or so.
Let's see if I don't.
Depends on if they win the Big 10 tournament. The Big 10 tournament, they move to a 2 seed.
I don't know this, but for future bets, what's the highest seed ever? I mean, maybe you know this.
That's a good.
I am curious because when you're betting a 10th seed,
NC State had to be up there in 1982. NC State.
So, I guess what I'm thinking is when you make these future bets, you're asking for something. 10th seed may never happen in history, right? You're asking something.
85 Villanova.
Okay, what was their seed?
They had to be, I think, a 7 or 8 seed. Let me look here.
So when we're looking at future bets, think of something like if you're betting a 10 seed, you're asking for something that's never
Number 8 seed.
Okay, so you're asking for 9 seed or higher. You're asking for something that's never been done in the tournament, right? So that's something to take into consideration. TCU, you think it's going to be 6 seed, 7 seed?
No, they should be a 7.
Which is more than possible, right? And you're getting 35 to 1. Yeah. How do you
See, it's one of the tennis things you got to see it to believe it, right? Yeah, you can think they're going to make the Final Four based off how they did in the regular season, but until you see Rick Barnes make a deep run, you're not going to believe it. You got to see it to believe it with Rick Barnes now, because it's been decade after decade after decade. No Rick Barnes Final Four teams made a run.
Right? We're talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, they're sitting at 25 to 1, you said?
Yeah. So Earl Barron was with us last week. He likes Houston, and they're the favorite. 6.5 to 1 at this point doesn't present value, right? I think things are tighter this year. Are they dominant?
Yeah.
Are they dominant enough to only get 6.5 to 1? Okay. So how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, if it's 6.5 to 1, you got to feel good about it. You got to feel really good about it. Yeah, it should be. The line is where it should be, I think. I just don't like you. I like Houston in October, but as the seasons went on, I've been in a love-hate relationship with them. I loved them, and then I hated them. And then I thought I could give them another chance, but they're not going to be in my future plays. I don't hate them, but I just think they're going to struggle to find a guy to get a bucket when they need it. They got about 3 good players that are athletic, that can run the floor, get out in transition. If they get in the transition game, they can create some problems. But I think if you get them in a game like Villanova got them in last year in the Elite Eight, where they slow the game down, this game with Villanova last year was, I think, 26-22 at the half. It had 48 points in the first half, and then the game finished at like 105 or 110 total points. So if Houston gets in that kind of game, they're going to be in trouble. And that's my fear, is they don't have a guy they can just go get 2 or 3 buckets from when they need it. And that's my problem with Houston.
I'm going to move a little bit forward. Last year, Bush Bar and Grill for the national championship.
Yeah,
How
that was a
much fun
great
was that?
time.
Good food,
Yeah.
good drink. I might have had a few adult beverages live on the radio.
Yeah.
It's feeling pretty good.
I might have had a few wagers.
Well, we all did. And every one of us picked North Carolina.
Yeah, I had a live
Plus
bet.
4.5, right?
Yeah.
When they covered, we all hit it.
Kansas jumped up to an early lead. And a really early lead, the first 4 minutes. The live line shot up to 14.5. I got North Carolina plus 14.5.
That's great.
Never had to sweat.
Never sweat.
Never had to sweat that.
But the money line was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I had a little sprinkle on the money
Oh,
line.
that was a disappointing
And our
North
friend
Carolina ending.
coming on tomorrow, Mr. Mike Mercer. Nice future
Oh,
and did not hedge.
yeah.
That was a little disappointing. What were they up, like 14 or 15?
14.5, I think.
Oh, what, no, at halftime.
Half. Yeah, 14.5. 14 at the half.
14 at the half.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so 14 at the half. And he was on his way down here to DraftKings. And he decided not to hedge. Because you could have gotten a plus money line on.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You could have the other way, you got a
98%
plus
of the
money line.
time I'm hedging.
Yeah, especially when you got $8,000. Right?
Yeah.
It's 8,000. You guarantee yourself a couple grand.
I mean, what did he risk? $100?
I don't remember. No, I think it was a
200?
Yeah, $300 money line.
300?
At the beginning to win 8K.
Yeah. And he could have gotten what on Kansas?
I don't know what.
If
the plus
he was
number-
going to hedge
There was a plus
the game,
number at halftime.
okay, so he could have put, I got you,
There was a small
plus number at halftime because Kansas was losing
Right.
by
And it
14.
would have been a small plus number.
So
because
it
they were
was
losing
plus
by-
120.
Yeah, right. Plus 150, maybe.
So he's got
We were down by
$300 at
14.
risk. He could go put up 2,000 on Kansas, let's say,
Guarantee himself,
and then guarantee
25
himself
2,500
6,000 or
5,500.
2,000.
Yeah. I think at that point that's what I'm doing. And he was actually in his car on the way here and decided not to do it. I don't.
Yeah, I'd have had a police escort here, so I'd have been going so fast.
Mike's going to be on our 590 show tomorrow night from 6 to 7. And we're going to talk mainly PGA, but we're going to sprinkle in some college basketball. Mike is an incredible handicap of college basketball and golf. I mean, I can't wait to talk a little bit about golf. You know, we've had Mike on before, and he's popped a couple of 30 and 40 or 50, 80 to 1 shots last year. 80 to 1. You only need to hit a couple of those a year. Mike had a successful year last year betting off Malcolm Darnley from bestodds.com, senior writer at bestodds.com. Check him out. His blog is really fun to read. And he's coming on 590 show tomorrow to talk about betting some golf. Here in a few minutes, Mike Mills should be joining us. Looking forward to that. He's on his way. We're going to talk some UFC. Big fight.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a fun time watching Evan.
It was fun until I talked to Evan yesterday on the phone. He's going to be with us early next week. Looking forward to having Evan on. Kind of going over the fight. We got some good questions already. I've been texting some good questions. Some good questions for Evan. And for good questions for Micah. Coming up tonight as soon as he gets here. Guys, let me know, David. I appreciate you letting me know. Can you hear me better now? If you can.
Yeah, I can hear you better.
You can hear me? Yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's move it up some. Yep.
Hopefully, normally it's not a problem hearing me, John.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how often is the problem hearing me? Right? David, if you can let me know how I sound. I can hear me fine through here. On YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know where you're watching.
Should be okay.
Yeah, should be able to hear me okay. I'm going to want you to see, give me a couple picks out before Mike gets here. I'm going to see how far away he is. So far, David.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead.
Oh, Mike is already sent me here.
I'm going to go ahead and put a live wager in. And you know who I'm going with, right? Pull them up, the moving company.
Oh, right.
We're moving with the moving company. Riders playing St. Peter's, and this ain't the St. Peter's Darlings of last year.
So where's
This ain't New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yeah, yeah. This is at Northeast Conference area.
Gonzaga, State of Washington.
MAAC.
Gonzaga's, Washington.
Gonzaga's in Washington.
Yeah.
The West Coast
Must be
Conference.
small school. When the tournament comes, a lot of people have no idea what this is.
Yeah. Well, Ryder, St. Peter's, Iona, Marist, Siena. All those. That's the north. That's that northeast part of the. Yeah, Siena.
They're making it.
No, they're going to make the conference tournament. They're going to get booted from that. Their season's going to be over. Yeah, but you know who might? You know, we need Ryder to come up. I want to see Ryder Iona matchup. Rick Pitino and the Iona Gales against the Moving Company.
You go.
Against
We talk
Ryder
about
and the
Ryder.
Moving
I'm
Company.
going to answer this.
That's what I
Mr.
want to see.
Whistler giving me a call.
But Ryder and St. Peter's playing right now in that first round of that MAAC tournament. Ryder had a winning streak of about 8 games in a
I'm
row.
on the phone with you.
So I think Ryder is hot going into March of this conference tournament. So they should move on past St. Peter's today. Ryder should be okay. And I just want to see a Ryder Iona matchup. Rick Pitino against a hot Ryder team. I want to see it. Ryder's been nice, but he made a lot of money off of it. But it's 25-23 Ryder right now. First half, 6 minutes to go.
I'll talk to you.
Live line sitting at minus 200 on the money line. Don't really want to lay minus 225 right now. I'd like St. Peter's to get a bucket, tie it up at 25-25, and then I'd get a better number. I'm getting minus 225 on the money line. I hate to lay 225 with the moving company. I've already got a few parlays with the moving company. 25-23. Ryder's up. So I'd like St. Peter's to get a bucket right now, and then I'd get a better price on Ryder because it'd be a tied game. So that's what we'd like to see. Lehigh struggling with Lafayette. That's a shocker. Everybody thought Lehigh would take care of business against Lafayette. That's not happening. 29-12. Lehigh getting ran out of the gym. Wow. 7 minutes to go in that game. Live line, you can get Lehigh plus 10.5, but they're down 17. So
What was the line at the beginning of the game?
Lehigh was favored. Yeah, they were favored by a few points. Colgate, what I tell you about the toothpaste company, David? They're running Loyola out of the gym. It's 35-14. Colgate's up 21.
So what happened?
What happened? That's not the Loyola you're thinking. This is Loyola, Maryland.
No,
Loyola Marymount. They're in the West Coast Conference
that's what I'm
in
talking.
Gonzaga. Okay, that's the West Coast teams. The Patriot League is East Coast stuff. That's Colgate, that conference. Colgate, Loyola, Maryland. Also, you got to remember Loyola, Chicago.
Yes.
That's the Sister Jean school.
Yes.
That made the run to the, I think, Final Four.
What are they doing?
They're god awful.
Awful.
Yeah, they're just awful. Yeah.
Creighton's only 30.
Yeah, Creighton's not a bad value at all. My problem with Creighton is they're a different team away from Nebraska. You get them outside of home, and they just don't play as well. So I'm not going to have much of a play on Creighton, just because you get them out of home. You know, they're just a different team. You get them in home, I'm taking Creighton on most bets when they're playing at home. Iona taking care of Marist early, no shocker there. Iona's the top seed in the MAAC conference. So hopefully we'll have an Iona and Ryder matchup in that championship game, maybe. We've got a different line on Ryder St. Peter's. It's 28-28 now. A lot of action going on. Murray State taking care of Valpo. That was my pick. Murray State taking care of Valpo. That was one of the. Yeah. Valparaiso. This is not the same Valpo team from 20 years ago when Bryce Drew hit that half-court shot. No, this is a terrible Valpo team. They're awful. So Murray State's taking care of business in the Arch Madness tournament in the Mo Valley. Let's see here. Houston. We talk about Houston. They're struggling with Wichita right now. That was a big spread. It was like a 17-point spread. But they are struggling. Houston's 22-22 early on. That's a tied game. So,
I can turn up the volume. When I turn on YouTube, I can hear myself fine. See, we just gotta give us 1 second. Check that. See.
yeah, why don't you switch headsets?
Well, we got Micah coming on. It could just be going there. How about now, guys? You can hear me? Yeah. It's, John is fine. How about mine now, baby? Now. John is fine. Let's see if I'm fine. Is this better? You can hear me. You can hear me. How about now? All right, let me know. Here we go. We're getting a response. It's all about the bubbles. It's all about the bubbles. You know, you're waiting, and then they go disappear, and then they come back. It's all about the bubbles. A little better. I'll try to be a little louder. You know, I've never had like, somebody can't hear me. Right? It's usually not an issue for me. But not good. Okay, you can't hear me well. Okay. Well, that's all right. Let's see if I can fix that.
Yeah, but while David's fixing that, Kennesaw State taking care of Lipscomb, David. So that's what we needed on the parlay was Kennesaw State and Murray State. And we are looking good early, but it is early. 32-19, Kennesaw up on Lipscomb. No shocker there. Wow, big shocker. Liberty, Eastern Kentucky. The Colonels.
Let's make some room for Mike.
The Colonels of Eastern Kentucky up 10, David. Liberty's the top seed.
That's fine. All right. Hey everyone, Micah Mills. We're doing it without Russell this evening. All right. Hi Micah, how you doing? Yeah. Oops. How you doing?
Good, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Move this a little closer to you. This time a little closer. Usually it's farther away. We are using the best we can. We have no Russell today, so David and John are playing producer today.
Producer David.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, Mike. As close as we can. Okay, that's better.
There you go.
David, can we hear Micah? What's going on? You frozen? Frozen. Okay, we need to bring it back up. We were doing so well, John.
Yeah.
We're doing really well. Let's see what we got here. Hang with us, guys. You're good? It's live, right? Let's see if, yep, okay, good. Let's see. Micah, say something. Check. Yep. Okay, good. Yep. Okay, good. Live? Yeah, we are. We're live. Keep talking, Micah. Check.
Yeah, that is going to be a good one.
Big one.
All right.
got to pull up the
We're doing the best we can.
I got to pull up my plays here to see
Let
where
Micah say
we're at.
something. Let's see what's going on. I can barely hear Mike. Is his plugged in all the way? Let's see what we got. Trying, we'll just go with what we have. All right, Micah. Listen, so talk to Evan. Next week, we're going to do a little special with him, a 1 hour special with him next week. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. I'm pretty excited about that. And can't wait to hear what he has to say about his fight. I took everything I was ahead at the racetrack and put it on him. You know, he went up to plus 197.
Did he win that far?
Yeah, he went up to plus 197, which I couldn't believe.
Well, unfortunate way to go out. Hats off to him. It's a great showing up until the end.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of it.
They stopped the fight. Though.
They did.
Doctor's note. All right, guys, go ahead. I'm going to ask you this question before I forget. I'm trying to. Okay. Let me get to this question, Mike, I have for you. All right. During the press conference, after the fight, Evan's opponent said that the cut was caused by an accidental headbutt. If that's truly what happened, is Evan going to appeal the results of the fight? Because shouldn't it have been, if that's the case, it was accidental, shouldn't Evan have won? Or
No, I mean, it would be overturned to a no contest if you were to appeal and win. You know, I guess it's a great question. We'll have to ask him. However,
what are the rules about it? That's the question.
yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. I know that if it was caused by an accidental headbutt and he were to appeal, the appeal would be overturned to a no contest, so it wouldn't be a loss on his record or a win on the other guy's record. However, we've seen that happen quite a bit, so I doubt that he would win. But it's a good question to ask.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to bring that up. That was a question. Somebody watches the show. That is a great question, right? And obviously, the tickets are no good.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I already threw away my ticket, so I'm not going to get paid.
Well, yeah, and I think even then it would overturn, not for a victory for him anyway. So I doubt that the ticket would be useful anyway.
Yeah. All right, we got.
That's a really good question. Yeah, I don't know the answer to.
Yeah, no idea. Looking forward to asking him a lot of questions about the fight. So, what did you? I mean, we're going to go over this again when we have. So overall, it was all the judges had him 2-1. Or no, it was right. Is that correct?
I think he was
20-18. I
Yes,
believe,
yes.
scored by all the judges in the first 2 rounds.
Right.
So he really would have had to screw up to win, right?
I mean, more or less, yeah. That was the most unfortunate thing I think that could happen because he was winning the contest. I think not only in the eyes of the judges, but just across the board. And it looked to me as though he was wearing his opponent down. You know, just an unfortunate thing that happens far too often in the fight game. It's extra unfortunate when it comes from an accidental headbutt as opposed to an elbow or a strike from his opponent that does cause the stoppage. It's just one of those things. It's tough when you're in the fight game and you only have a certain number of shots. He's just one of those guys that's resilient, though. He'll bounce back, he'll learn from it. I think he'll be better from it. And just like his previous fight, he came out and showed that he's improved. So that's off to him. You know, I think it's going to be in the eyes of most fans, most people in the MMA community. It's not exactly a loss. It's more of just an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a great fight to watch.
Oh, yeah. And he showed again significant improvement. I think he was good everywhere. It was fun to see. He showed kind of a mix of striking, his clinch, his grappling. So across the board, I mean, I think his stock continues to rise, even though he came off. That's my opinion.
All right, so are you a college basketball guy?
I doubt.
You doubt?
I doubt.
So you dabble.
A little bit. I'm dabbling tonight.
I was having a tough time with the Auburn Bama game.
Oh, that was a heartbreaker. We just talked about that before you got here. That was a heartbreaker. Auburn's up the whole game, and then the fighting, the fighting criminals of Alabama, as they call them.
They are. That's what they are. Call it what it is.
They come back and put that game into overtime last night. That was a heartbreak hotel if you had like an Auburn money line bet. But they covered the spread. They were 9.5. Auburn plus 9.5. Covered the spread, but losing that game was heartbreak hotel.
Multiple times throughout the game, and Bama was fighting back, and then we go on a little run, and it's just one of those things that I don't know that Auburn has the talent this year to make the deep.
Well, they have my problem with Auburn is the same problem I have with Houston. Houston's maybe a little more athletic, and they've been there, done that. Very experienced team, but Auburn just seems to struggle to. They'll get in lapses where they'll go 3 minutes towards the middle end of a game and not get a bucket.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, they don't have
a
it.
killer instinct. I said that to my dad, and he's like, "Well, I think they're undersized, or they're just not as talented." But there's still big teams find a way to put points on the board coming down the stretch.
Yeah, they've got a guy. They've got a go-to guy they go to get a bucket with.
Right. Exactly.
And, that's my struggle with Auburn watching them. But I would put them at about a 6 seed, somewhere around a 6 to 7 seed,
I would say 7.
depending on what shakes out in the SEC tournament. SEC's looking to get 8 teams in.
I know. Well,
let's see. We got Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi State, more than likely, A&M, Arkansas. That's 7. We find an 8th. No, I'm not finding an 8th. Missouri. That's 8. Missouri would be the 8th. Yeah. So.
what about what's going on with LSU?
Oh,
What's going on
LSU.
with
LSU.
I'm not following it super close,
Yeah.
but a little closer.
Yeah, that's much better.
I don't follow it as close, but just seeing their record.
Right. Last night when they played Mizzou. Yeah, LSU's just they've only won 1 game this year in 2023.
That's what I wanted to bring up.
They hit conference play and they were 0 for life, and I think they beat Ole Miss or something. I think.
Did it?
Yeah. So LSU is not going to be on any postseason tournament.
So we have action on tonight.
Yeah, we got some plays in.
John's not in action. I don't know why.
We got some parlays in. My best parlay I've had was a Kennesaw State out of the Atlantic Sun Conference. Kennesaw State and Murray State tonight.
That is an insane thing that you feel like you have now. That you know
Kennesaw
something
State
about
is solid.
basketball, that you would be that deep. And I respect it. Don't get me wrong. I
Right.
respect it.
You got to show the small schools some love. Kennesaw State up on Lipscomb by 10 at the half. I got a Kennesaw State money line, Murray State money line. Kennesaw State was minus 190. Murray State was minus 120 on the money line. Disrespectful, David. They're up 9 on Valpo at the half. That thing should have been minus 240 on the money line. Murray State's going to crush Valpo. Valpo doesn't belong in the same building as Murray State. So Kennesaw State, Murray State money line parlay. We got a 2-teamer in that going. I've got a 13-pick parlay. You got to have a hope and a dream every once in a while.
I got some parlays.
Yeah.
No,
This-
I'm in. Here, right at the right spot. DraftKings Casino Queen will be making some tickets.
Yeah.
Before we leave here this evening.
I'm gonna make a few myself.
It might be a foodie thing.
You know
It might
who's
be a foodie thing.
a what? A food evening? Well, every evening's a food evening for me.
Great things
Oh, I get the pizza, Dave.
Get sliders, baby.
Well,
I
yeah,
like the sliders.
yeah. I've had about 7 sandwiches in the past 36 hours. So. I don't know. I've had too many sandwiches, so I
You
gotta.
don't have to make way tomorrow morning.
I ain't making no weight. I'm not making no fight weight like they are tomorrow for the UFC fight. If I make a fight weight, you can take the over. I could
So wait,
take
Mike,
the over.
this is UFC 285.
285.
285.
John Jones versus Cyril Gane.
Is that? I mean, that's obviously that's the highlight of the card. Is there? What do we got? Let's get into it. What do we got?
This is a card, my friend.
All right.
This is a card.
All right,
So, let's just start from the top. Main event: John Jones versus Cyril Gane. The return of Johnny Bones Jones after a 3-year layoff, which includes a number of discrepancies and controversies. He's probably been the most controversial fighter in the history of the UFC, and I have a little bit of a timeline to go through, but he opens tomorrow as a minus 170 favorite against Cyril Gane out of France. Cyril Gane is a plus 145. Additionally, we have another title bout between Valentina Shevchenko Bullet versus Alexa Grasso. Listen to this line. Shevchenko minus 750. Alexa Grasso plus 550.
Wow.
Minus 550 and a plus 550?
That's
Minus 7.
Oh, minus 750 plus 550. I got you. Yeah. Wow, big favorite.
So,
Why is he a big favorite?
this is a cheat.
Oh, we're in the women's. Okay.
Yes. I think she's the best female fighter. No doubt.
She better be at a minus 750.
So, again, this is going to be parlay week. We're going to have to use this parlay. There are some locks, there's some value to be found. You just got to go search for it.
So there's little to no shot that she's going to lose, I guess.
Although,
Who was that woman about 5 years ago that was a minus 800? Ronda Rousey. Who'd she lose to? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, we have.
Woo! I wanted to be the person that was laying minus 800 on Holly Holm. No, Ronda Rousey was minus 800.
Well, she was minus 8.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have Ronda Rousey minus 800 ticket on that one.
Well,
Good Lord.
UFC,
Oh, I'd have cried for weeks, Micah.
UFC female fighting
Yeah.
is one of the most. That's where you've seen some of the most biggest comes to the
Yeah, that's what makes me wonder. Like, you get these big lines, and David's the big long shot.
not always, but yeah, I like
Likes
value, right?
He likes the 10-to-1s are better and stuff like that. But, I, with as many bets as I do on a daily basis, I like to try to steal that free money I got, which the minus 500. So I may, but I wouldn't want to get that minus 750 lady in there, and then she cost me the dang parlay. That would be rough. That would be rough.
You're gonna get asked a question here. Why is the text?
No, that's earlier.
Oh. All right, Mike Purdue to win.
That was from 20 minutes ago.
Okay. Well, you're about to get a question, Micah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, if you have any questions, go send them in the chat. We had to use John's computer tonight. Mine crashed a couple weeks ago while we were running, and this week somehow we couldn't get it to my computer to run fast enough. So, all right. Yeah. Yeah. Last week we had to run off hotspot. Connection wasn't. We got that all fixed. We're working the bugs out Thursday nights like you're starting with. That's right. Yeah, it's like King's out. Hopefully we get them all covered. Russell should be back with this next week.
But, while we're waiting on that question, I've got a 13-pick parlay. $7 to win 1,000.
You got $7
Oh, yeah.
How many got in?
Listen to me. I won't tell you. You think I'm not going to tell you about this one? So under 139, That's looking really good. Army's looking good against Boston. The moving company's looking good. Rutgers looking good. The rest of them looking pretty good. You know the one that's going to cost me, David? Lehigh.
It's early.
Early, look at the score, my friend. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see it.
What is it? Tell
41-18.
them.
41-18. What do you got? How many points do you get?
Money line.
Oh, well, it's early.
Early.
It's
I'm down 23 at the half.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm going to have Lehigh cost me a $7 to win 1,000 ticket.
We talked about this last week. We talked about this last week, but it's all right.
I got a lot more play. As long as I hit my Kennesaw State money line, Murray State money line, I'm good to go. I'm golden. Also got a Rider money line, Rutgers money line with my Kennesaw State play. So, a lot of action still going on. So we'll see how it shakes out. But as long as we have Kennesaw State and Murray State win, we can't lose.
Now let's read the question. Yep. Go ahead and read the
So
question.
David Sanders says, I know nothing about real wrestling, but I think that Tatiana Suarez has the best MMA wrestling of any female MMA fighter that I've ever seen.
And then, what did Mike think about her return after 3.5 years off last Saturday, fighting up a weight class? I thought it was excellent. So I did not watch all of that fight, but I did see the highlights, and I would say that I did not know much about her prior to her fight last week, again, due to her leg, but I think that pro wrestling is going to put her in an excellent position being up at this weight. I think it's really suited to her style, and I don't know if you saw post-fight, but she was interested in a matchup with Rose Namajunas. I think that's an excellent matchup for her. She'd be able to push the pace, put Rose up against the fence. I don't think that Rose's striking would be as effective against a high-level grappler like herself. So I totally agree. Someone to look out for. And again, moving up the weight, I think is a perfect move for her, just given the women at the top of that division.
I like it. Yeah. I have to ask this. Like, the cauliflower ear. Is that what they call it?
Correct.
All right. Why are they not allowed to wear ear guards? This is permanent damage. It's not like a cut that heals. Okay, you got it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you never noticed?
No.
Oh, yeah.
So how come you're not allowed to wear ear guards? This is permanent damage.
So, really,
And you can ring somebody out.
yeah, there's no doubt.
Permanent damage.
Really, it's the headgear is pretty specific to wrestling and wrestling as well. You see headgear within wrestling, but I think it's a result of that being a protection of your head. The rules are you get gloves and underwear and you go out and fight. So I think that's probably the reason behind it now. Cauliflower ear thing is just one thing that almost every fighter has, and unless you want to do the plastic surgery on it.
How many dollars are those curious? Yeah. Because it's.
What's the reason for it?
So it comes from hours and hours and hours of grappling training, just getting your ear kind of hit over and over again. It can also come from just one big blow, but typically what will happen is cartilage in your ear breaks, and then blood kind of bleeds up and it's really nasty looking when it's bad. It's a little
Sounds like it.
So it just comes from years and years of training. And it's one of those things that in the MMA community, or especially in the wrestling community, it's kind of a sign of honor, like a trophy that you work hard for. There's actually a club in New York called the Cauliflower Club, and you can only get in if you have cauliflower ear or you're female. Or you're female.
Yeah. And show the ladies some love.
So what we're going to do is, after night by tomorrow morning, we're going to have your picks for this weekend. And moving to Thursday night, so people will have the opportunity to get their bets in. Yeah, I like Thursday nights. You see the casino is a lot different.
Yeah, it's very different.
It's packed.
Yeah.
I am curious if John's mic is really working and we're feeding off his mic. We can hear each other. Just
I
fine.
can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Is that?
Press down on the see if you can hear me now. Yeah.
Now I
So, so obviously I'm doing the best I can with these.
You want to take a quick break and see if we can
Yeah,
get
let's
this sorted?
see. Well, I think we need to take a quick break anyway. Let's see if we can. Let's see if I can. How do I scroll down? Go down. Video. See if we can find our commercial.
That's it right there. 2-minute timer.
2-minute timer.
Yeah.
See if there's a 5. You know, we're doing the best we can, guys. No, let's take a 2-minute break.
We do two
Well,
minute
let's
breaks.
tell you what, take off your headset. Take off your headset, John. Let's see. Hello, hello. Hello? Hello? Oh, it's still soft. I'm talking into that, so I think we're feeding off the computer. I think we're feeding off the mic. We can hear each other through here, but I think we're actually feeding off this.
That's the input.
This is not, these are not to this computer, so maybe we can try that.
Yeah, so here.
Uh,
Yeah, hold on. Here we go. So,
It was on default.
go to the computer, because these are hooked up to my computer. That's why we can hear. Go to the computer. Speakers. Here. Default speakers.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So let's keep it there for now. Let's take a 2-minute break, and I'll try to hook it up. Go ahead and for a 2-minute break. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
It's not working. Shit.
I just go grab my phone.
Yeah, but it's gonna run out.
Huh?
It's gonna run out in the meantime.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
All right, we are back here live at DraftKings and Casino Queen. We're trying to get this thing working right. Can hear you fine, Micah.
Sounds good. While we're doing that, looks like Mike is trying to put a parlay together.
I am. I'm testing the water.
Yeah. See what kind of prices we're getting on a 4-pick or a 5-pick.
Yeah.
That's what I like doing myself. So, yeah, I need Lehigh to come back, folks. I got a shot to hit this $7 to win 1,000 if I can get Lehigh to pull a miracle here. Lehigh's just letting me down. They're getting crushed by Lafayette, 46-22, with 17 minutes to go. Yeah, Lehigh. I think they're the Mountain Hawks or something. Just terrible. You know, I felt good about them. I've been riding them for a few games. Yeah, the Mountain Hawks. I was right. The Mountain Hawks.
Hi there. All good?
Go back to the. I can hear John fine. We're gonna have to share the mic. Or you guys might have to share the mic. Go ahead and say something. It's really soft.
Here, give me yours and I'll take it. Give me yours.
Might say something.
Close that down. That's your speaker.
I can say something.
It's a free pitch.
Can't even hear. Did you go back to the original setting? It's like watching an AOL dial-up. He said, "That's funny."
I have a question.
Yeah.
Mike, can say something.
Does the sports shuttle go to the Missouri Valley tournament?
No, this one does.
Doesn't.
You can hear John fine, which means it's coming. The microphone's coming from the laptop. You can hear that fine. You can barely hear me.
Let's see what you're saying.
Let's try a different one. Default.
When we're on default,
No.
probably won't even. Which this is the same thing. It's the same.
Dear John. It's coming from the microphone somewhere. Try a different one. Try it. No, the audio is like a screeching. You hear that?
screeching. That's what's making it worse.
Yeah, that screeching's terrible. Screeching. You say something. Screeching's still loud. I don't know what that is.
That's the one microphone. Try. Is this what it would always be?
Try
That's
that one.
what we were.
Still screeching. Is this the, which is the camera?
This one should be.
Go to the, what do you call it, commercial.
Yeah, well, let's fix this, guys. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back in just a moment.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
All right, guys. I think we got it figured out now. So for the microphone end of it, we should have a better connection now, better audio. David's working on that. Producer David. Producer David's working on it right now. So see if we can get that audio problem fixed. But yeah.
John, can we talk a little bit about Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm waiting on you, my man. You're trying to put some action together for us. And
yes, I am. So, leading off the card, like I had mentioned, we have the return of John Jones.
There you go.
We have the return of John Jones versus Cyril Gane, as discussed. One thing that I love about this fight is Cyril Gane, not much of a grappler. And I don't know if you know this, but John Jones, one of the better grapplers, really, I think right now in the UFC. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after a 3.5-year layoff. What are your thoughts? 3.5 years, still coming in as the favorite?
yeah, I mean, even as a casual MMA fan, quite categorized as the casuals, I would be the casuals when it comes to MMA.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody knows John Jones.
Everybody knows Johnny
Everybody
Bones
knows him.
Jones.
He hadn't fought in 3 years, so
Can I give you a little bit of an outline of sort of the John Jones timeline since he's been in the UFC.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give you an understanding of
I'll tell you, my first
controversy.
experience with John Jones is when I used to play with John Jones on the Fight Night game.
Absolutely, the undisputed.
Whatever happened to that
It's
game?
still there. They got UFC 4.
No. I'm talking. There was a game Fight Night.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a Fight Night game,
The earliest I remember
and they stopped making it. EA Sports stopped making it.
was it fighting or was
Not
it
this
boxing?
UFC 1 through.
Was it boxing?
Yes.
Okay.
But it would have the MMA guys on
Now I
there.
remember. I do recall that. Yes.
Yes.
So
it
that
would
was your
have-
intro to John Jones.
Yes.
Got it.
And then they stopped making the game.
What year was that? What year was that?
2000. Let's see. 2010 to 11.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So
2010 to 11.
in 2008, John Jones joins the UFC. He goes on a 7-fight win streak. In 2009 was that first loss and only loss of his career that was very controversial. It was a DQ to Matt Hamill by way of illegal elbows. So he was on top of Matt
the only
Hamill.
way Matt Hamill could ever beat him
Correct.
in his life,
Correct.
technically,
So
was
on top of Matt Hamill, winning the fight very clearly. And there's what's called 12 to 6 elbows, which is where you go from here straight down. Now, those have been made illegal due to what most people would consider a really dumb rule when they were coming up with the rules in the UFC back in the day. Some of the commission saw different videos of people like breaking boards and breaking ice with the elbows, the 12 to 6 elbows. So they made it illegal, even though it shouldn't be. So anyway, as a result, John Jones has that one blemish on his career. I don't see, other than that, he's undefeated and to most viewed as the GOAT, if not on the Mount Rushmore conversation. So
Yeah.
excited to see his return. But in 2011, he became the youngest ever champion of the UFC at 205, defeating the legend Shogun Rua. 2012, hits with the DUI, and this is when the whole facade starts to fade. He used to be the good guy, golden boy of the UFC, very much put on this family-friendly face to
really?
the fans. But in 2012,
Wow.
the bubble started to burst by way of a DUI,
The off the mat trouble started.
and it
We got off the court,
continues
then we got
for-
off the field. This will be off the mat
and
trouble.
then continues for the next better part of a decade. So, in 2012, there was a big controversy around UFC 151, where he was scheduled to fight with Dan Henderson. Henderson, who he was supposed to beat and would have beaten, had to back out in short notice, and so another fight was offered to him with Chael Sonnen. He declined the fight on short notice, and that was the only time that the UFC has ever canceled an event. So really got on Dana's bad side by turning down a way lesser opponent who he would end up facing, but that was a huge controversy within the space because for the first time ever, they'd had to cancel an event due to him declining to take another opponent.
Yeah.
So then, 2013, he's got his fight with Alexander Gustafsson, goes into the UFC Hall of Fame for one of the greatest fights ever. 2014, if you recall, he had a trilogy with Daniel Cormier, or I should say, he had 2 fights with Daniel
Yeah.
Cormier, who was
Cormier was
one of the
was he a
legends.
grappler?
He was a grappler.
Grappler,
Former
yeah.
Olympian wrestler
Yeah.
out of Oklahoma
He was
State.
a pretty big fan favorite, wasn't he?
Very, still is.
Yeah.
So he's still doing commentary.
When was his
for
last
the
fight?
UFC. Boy, he retired. I think 2020. I want to say he
Yeah.
beat Stipe Miocic, I believe, in at heavyweight.
Was he a dog in that fight or favorite?
I believe he was a dog. I'd have to double check on that. But it's been a minute since he's gotten out of the game. But his biggest rivalry was known for his time with John Jones. There was a famous brawl that took place at one of the weigh-ins or one of the pre-fight press conferences where John Jones pushed Daniel Cormier off the stage, led to a
Wow.
big melee
Wow.
and a $50,000 fine.
Wow.
So now, for the first time ever, the whole facade of John Jones being this great stand-up guy is really starting to fade, and fans are starting to turn against it.
the drug tests.
Correct. So,
The pushing
that-
Cormier like that.
and that leads us to 2015.
the DUI, John Cocaine Jones.
That's exactly right.
Speak, the new movie's out, The Cocaine Bear. So I'm
heard
sure
very
you guys
bad
have probably
reviews.
heard of it. It's a bear that ingested cocaine and is wreaking havoc on the town.
Now, see, if that had happened in Dagestan, Russia,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a problem. You know,
They'd have
Those
just
guys
gotten
would just
two
go out
chin-strap
there.
beard guys to come out there
Exactly, and they would
tear
have
them
taken him
apart.
down.
But
put him
it's
back
it's
in,
not a
you know,
regular
submitted
bear.
him.
This is a cocaine bear.
I still think that the guys out in Dagestan, you know, you get 3 or 4 of those guys with the chin strap ears
Yeah.
and the cauliflower ear, they're going to have no problems taking down some bear that's coked up. But that's nothing compared to.
What about John Cocaine Jones?
So 2015, he beats the Daniel Cormier that we're talking about. However, fails a drug test for cocaine in the same incident.
Of course.
Later that year, a hit and run incident with a woman who was pregnant at the time. And that's where everything really
That's
turned
where it
against
comes off
him.
the rails. When was the hit? 2015.
That's 2015. Really incident. 2016 again, fails drug with PED, steroid metabolites in his system, which cancels the Cormier bout. So a lot of things going on. In 2017, finally gets the rematch with Cormier where he defeats him, and then once again fails the drug test post and has his title shot. And then a year ago, he was being in the Hall of Fame, went out in Vegas, got drunk, came back, and then there's some domestic charges, allegations against him. Really sad stuff. So for me, in terms of fandom, he's crossed the line too many times. He's had too many second chances that he's blown. So while
understandable.
I think he is understandably the favorite going into this matchup, I'm still hesitant to pull for the guy.
So what's the line on that fight?
On that fight, we got John Jones minus.
So we're getting a little plus money on the fan favorite Cyril Gahn.
Well, and to be fair, I think despite the controversy, John Jones is still very much a fan favorite to most people that are more concerned about his performance inside of the octagon than his transgression.
It's a little
outside.
split.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Where's Cyril Gahn hail from?
France.
The French.
French, yes. Wouldn't expect
French
it.
native.
This guy is an absolute monster. I'm going to pull up a quick picture.
I don't think there's too many French natives that are participating in the MMA, are there?
Wait till you see this guy. He is a monster.
I would think
Mike,
if they did a
Mike, I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
I mean, MMA or UFC is huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of other leagues or
Correct. Promotions.
right? So France probably has their own.
They do. I mean, pretty much
Almost
every country
has their own, right?
Well, that's the beauty of the fight game is that in pretty much all parts of the world, there are young guys that are out there fighting or gals that are out fighting and doing different types of mixed martial arts. So pretty much everywhere has a circuit. Now, I believe Cyril Gahn trains out of England, I think now. But yeah, hails from France and is a bad dude. Dangerous guy.
Most of these guys train in the U.S.
No, not necessarily. There's some guys that are absolutely committed to their fight camp that they came up in. So a lot of guys that fight out of the UK will train in the UK. But there's no question that the vast majority of the larger camps with the most kind of contenders or guys that are in the circuit are really across the U.S. Vegas, Albuquerque, which is where John Jones trains out of, Florida, where our buddy Evan Elder trains out of, but really all over. So it depends.
Oh, so David just sent in another message. Talking about France. MMA was illegal in France until a few years ago.
And not only that, but it's amazing how not only just in France, but just in the last, I believe, 5 years, that it was legalized all across the U.S. I mean, they had tons of issues getting it into New York. The New York State Athletic Commission was banning it forever. And then they finally had the big fight in Madison Square Garden with Conor McGregor, which I believe was 2016. But it wasn't until very recently that it was kind of accepted worldwide as a sanctioned event, sanctioned sport.
Is it? Do you know of any countries that it's still illegal in?
I don't. Not off the top of my head. I mean, could certainly find out, and that'd be another good question. But again, it's embraced so worldwide. We now have we have multiple champions from Africa, from Europe, from Asia, from South America, from the U.S. So it's like from New Zealand and Australia. So it's like it's really kind of taken over the world.
So, since I've been playing producer, I know you've gone over some of your picks.
Mhm.
Have we gotten all of them?
No, I'd love to get through
Since
it,
we only have about 25 minutes left,
Yep.
let's make sure we get to all your picks,
for sure.
and then I've got some other questions for you.
All right.
If we have time.
So my picks for this one, John Jones is the favorite. However, if you take him to win by KO or TKO, that's a plus 350. I like that odds. I also like, on that same wavelength, it's important to note Jones is a much better grappler than Cyril Gane. And Cyril Gane has also been in his most recent fight with Tai Tuivasa, got caught, dropped on his butt. So I think that if you wanted to take a really good value pick on that one, you could take Jones by submission plus 650. So either by KO plus 350 or by submission plus 650. I don't see this fight going the distance. They're two big guys with crazy knockout power. So I think that this being a 5-round title bout, it's going to be, no question, it's going to stop within the distance. So I'm taking John Jones by knockout plus 350. Next fight on the list, we got Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. Like I said, Shevchenko is without question, I think, the best female fighter on the planet and significantly better than a surging Alexa Grasso. Go Valentina Shevchenko by KO or TKO plus 175. Next up, we have Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal. Now, Rakhmonov is one of these guys that's an up-and-coming star in the UFC. He's getting the Dana White push, undefeated at the moment, very, very scary striker, and is a massive favorite going into this fight. But I'm taking Rakhmonov by KO plus 225. I think he's going to go in there like a bat out of hell. He's going to take it to him and get that knockout and continue to soar or continue to rise throughout the UFC rankings. And there's even an argument to be made that he could be seeing a title bout within the next fight or two if he goes in and takes care of business on Saturday. Next up, we have Jalen Turner versus Mateusz Gamrot. Now, we've spoken about Gamrot in the past.
Yeah.
Very savvy, tough dude, really good grappler versus Jalen Turner, who's more known for his striking. The line on this one is, and I apologize, give me 1 second. The line on that one is Mateusz Gamrot is a 215 favorite versus Jalen Turner, who's a plus 185. Now, it's important to note that Gamrot is taking this fight on short notice, so he's got a shorter camp. But I still think that he's going to just wear down Jalen Turner over the course of the fight and get that win by decision plus 230.
Nice.
And then last up, we got a really fun one, okay? Bo Nickel, a guy that I've been talking about, is going to lead off the card. He is a 3-time national Division I champion in wrestling at Penn State, also a junior world champion in freestyle wrestling, one of the hottest prospects to come up through the Dana White Contender Series. I don't see anyone stopping this guy. Not only that, but I'm going Bo Nickel by round 1 at a minus 200. That's how confident I am in this guy getting the stoppage in round 1. He is yet to leave round 1 any of his fights thus far in the UFC. Dominant guy. He's going to take him down. He's going to submit him in the first round.
Oh, I like it.
Minus 200, and I still think it's worth it.
Yeah.
That he's that good.
Wow. That sounds fantastic to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm in on that.
Absolutely. Now, there's a couple of parlays we can talk about real quick if you like to get into
We
it.
got time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
All right.
20
I love to
minutes.
get into the parlay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go, if we just parlayed the ones that I talked about, again, this could be a night for the favorites, so we're going to have to find different ways of getting value. But if we just take Bo Nickel, Gamrot, Rakhmonov, Shevchenko, and John Jones, bet bucks on that to win 338. Now that's dangerous. That's dangerous because we're talking about 5 fights in a row.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take it one step further, and I'm going to take, rather than taking Shavkat Rakhmonov, I'm going to take him by winning method.
Thank you.
I'm going to take him winning by KO at a plus 225, and that takes your odds up to plus 814. Okay, so
Yeah, but then you're getting Romanov to win by
KO,
KO.
which he will.
Okay.
So Rakhmonov to win by KO is going to take your odds from plus 238 to plus 814. Then if you wanted to stretch it a little bit further, take John Jones by KO, plus 380.
Tell you what I'm going to do here. This is great, a neat app. I'm going to use the app here to fill out my ticket.
Okay.
Just go up there and they can get my ticket all prepared. When I go to DraftKings and CasinoQueen.com and see if I can do this,
All right.
fill out my ticket right now.
After this, will you guys take me over and because I'd like to lay some action down.
Oh,
yeah.
It took a while,
I-
but here we go.
I want to lay
Micah.
some action down. I'm
Yeah.
feeling froggy. I'm feeling froggy.
Say that, but-
I'm jumping on the boat,
You
baby.
told me.
There goes the farm.
Yeah.
But if there's ever a time to bet, I think it's this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying a
I
lot.
got some
Big
action in
believer.
right now.
And
There's
hey, you
so
know
many
what?
games going on.
I was wondering, where did it go? Hold on.
Sweat
right.
this through for me, guys. I've got the Oakland, Northern Kentucky game, the Norse of Northern Kentucky. That's their name, David. The Norse, N-O-R-S-E, by the way. I don't know what a Norse is. Probably the same thing as a
Yeah, what
Billiken or a
Yeah,
Chanticleer.
what is a Norse?
But the Northern Kentucky Norse and Oakland playing a conference tournament. They're at 132 with 3 minutes left. I've got over 141.5. I just need 10 points in 3 minutes. And it's a 10-point game. They're going to start
How's your Lehigh
fouling.
doing? Are they making a comeback?
Lehigh, the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh. They are, David.
I told you were all sweating.
Well, it ain't there yet. Calm down. It was 9. Now it's back to 14.
That's
8
all
minutes
right.
left.
It'll be all right.
14-point game with 8 minutes left. It ain't looking good.
Oh, by the way, it's they do pay-per-view here. That you have the fights are on here at
Okay.
DraftKings and Casino Queen. It's a $20 cover charge, worth every bit of it with the experience
I might
here
have
at the
to do that.
sportsbook. It's
I might
incredible,
have to do
right? I mean, we talk about this all the time, how incredible this facility is. $20, come watch the fight.
that. Absolutely.
Not too bad, right?
No, not too shabby.
Yeah.
They got it on the big screens, and maybe you need some in-game action.
60-foot video wall.
That's right.
The fights are going to be on. Comfortable couches.
I was wondering if we could bring up, Dave, the Evan Elder card,
Yeah.
because I just wanted to talk. I wanted to toot my own horn a little bit.
Yeah.
If that's all right with you
Yeah,
guys.
Of course, absolutely.
So I had taken the picks that I took for that one was, and again, this was sort
You
of.
can toot your own horn anytime you want. If you have winners, we toot our own
All right.
horn.
Okay. Well, I just want to go through it. So, starting out the card, I had taken Jamal Pokes by decision over Josh Parisian, which he did. That was a plus 150. Next was Alexander Hernandez by KO. Hernandez won by decision, so I missed on that one. Then we had Marcin Pacino by decision over William Knight, plus 350. We hit that one. Then we had Zach Quagga by decision, plus 120. We got that one. Although in the final match of the night, we had Jessica Andrade. I had taken her by KO at a plus 130. But I did say, if you wanted some fun value on the underdog, take Erin Blanchfield by decision, as she was a much better wrestler, which she did at plus 450.
Wow.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So that's me tooting my own horn for the week.
I like tooting your own horn.
But
So did we get to that question? The bottom one?
The ban on the 12-6 elbows.
Yes. We spoke about it a little
Okay.
bit. Very important, just because it's such a dumb rule that cost one of the greatest, really of all time, to have a loss on his record that just shouldn't be there. But Dave, if you missed that part of it, he was DQ'd in a fight that he was winning because of what was called a 12-6 elbow, which is where you go from here down. It's a dumb rule that was instituted a long time ago.
John Cocaine Jones lost to who?
Matt Hamill
Matt Hamill.
by by illegal.
Matt
Illegal
Hamill was
elbows.
not on that video game I used to play.
No, he was not. No, he was not. I don't think he's ever been on a video game. No offense, no offense, Matt Hamill. Don't hurt me if you.
That
see me
may
out.
be his one shining moment.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's definitely the biggest win of his career, or
Yeah.
really most people. So,
So
shout out to him.
when we leave here, hopefully tonight or tomorrow, we will have all your picks posted. You can go on
Yep.
and post them if you would like.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and tweet them out.
Cool.
We'll retweet them. If you want to get in action on these
Yep.
fights, Mike has been spot on all season long since we've been here at DraftKings.
I have my misses, but I like to think that
Listen, it's
I.
gambling.
That's right.
You're new to that.
That is.
aspect,
I'm
right?
very new to
And
it.
in fact, I'm okay with you as an expert not gambling yourself,
Yep.
right? But now we're going to see you at the windows. He's going to the windows.
Going
He's
to the
going to the
windows.
windows, John. He wants
dangerous.
to get in action. On,
This is dangerous.
hey, when you acknowledge that you have your picks, profitable. It's
I appreciate it.
so.
Yeah.
So, today's right, we want to make money, and we're actually we've got a lot of different sports. It's your sport, right? And you stick with you're profitable. So why wouldn't you be putting your own money on your own research and then your own knowledge?
Gotta put my money literally where my mouth
That's
is.
that's exactly
what this
how
is
I
about.
feel, right?
Money on the wood, make the game go good.
So,
You know?
so one of the things that a lot of guests that people don't know about and then become over time they keep coming back is because I like having people on, and John's become the co-host on this, but that literally as soon as we get done here, or sometimes during the show, we'll go right in
He's got to get his fix.
to the kiosk.
Got to get
Well,
that little
no,
fix.
but I mean, he's willing to put his own money where his mouth is. Right? He's not
Absolutely.
only telling you what he's betting, but he's going and doing it himself. I do the
Figured it
same
was
thing. If
time.
I give out a horse, I'm putting money, my own hard-earned money, on that bet.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things I like to do is if you don't know how to bet it, you take the information, and I can help anyone put a ticket together.
Yeah.
How they would like to structure their wager. And
Yeah.
There's so many different ways you can wager on these events, right? And if you like basketball, you could take one of John's picks and put him in a parlay with the MMA picks,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So,
And the Northern Kentucky Norse have come through for me, David.
look at
68-74.
him.
What's
He's been
that?
sweating ever since Mike has been telling me about his picks. He's sweating his picks on the phone.
No, that
I
was a
love it.
live bet. I did that about 10 minutes ago.
Well,
That's my point.
my
Yeah.
issue
We're
traditionally
at 143 now. Let's go.
with gambling
done.
traditionally,
Winner.
my problem or my hesitation has always been the losses sting way worse than
Oh, yeah.
the victory. And I think it's probably because traditionally I've had more losses because the few times I do gamble, it's with my heart and
Yeah.
not with my head.
So we talk
So I'm
about that
trying
all
to
the time.
transition this into a profitable venture, and looking at some of the lines and picks this week. I'm going to throw some parlays your way for Twitter so that everybody can look at them. But there's some value out there this week in particular that if you even throw $10 on one of these long shot parlays, and they're not as long of a long shot as I think the lines appear.
Or
There's some
even a
chances
flat
that,
bet on one of these plus 300s.
Yeah.
3-1 on your money is good.
Yep.
Right? It's
Absolutely.
And the funny thing is, we talk about betting with our heart on Evan. Evan was leading by all
Oh, yeah.
judges in that fight.
Oh yeah.
So a little bit maybe a surprise to you.
Not really, actually. I saw that it made sense for him to come in against his opponent with a little bit of as an underdog just due to his last fight. That's the one fight that he's been seen in the UFC. So I think a lot of Vegas depends on that, just a smaller amount of homework that they've been able to do on him. So it didn't surprise me a ton for him to come in where he did, but I thought his performance was exactly what I expected. He's a tremendous fighter. He's
So
well-rounded.
but we're not going to get 2-1 again on
No.
next time.
I doubt it, unless he fights a guy that Vegas loves. So
Yeah.
it sort of depends, but I think his stock will continue to rise as a result of this next fight or this past fight. The next one, I think he's just going to come out even more impressive, knowing that he's got to put a win together.
So I was at Hot Springs, Arkansas during Evan's fight, and I got front row seat in their sports book. And I'm probably the only one in the entire place that bet the fight,
Yeah.
or that bet that specific fight.
For sure.
And maybe not. But I think everybody in the entire sportsbook knew who I was rooting for.
That makes
there's
sense.
no doubt. There's no doubt. Everybody knew because I'm a pretty animated guy. I'm like,
Oh, I
John.
was too.
Yeah.
I was yelling at my TV
Yeah.
quite a
I'm
bit, and
screaming at the TV.
as soon as I saw the cut, I immediately was, oh no. I mean, I saw it, and right away I looked at it and I was like, that's trouble. That's trouble.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Because it does get to that point more and more as they try and protect the fighters. You see more and more doctors stepping in and saying, hey, no more. You're done.
Yeah, I mean, you
part of
see
it.
that in a lot of different avenues with football protecting quarterbacks. And, it's just a different world, It's a lawsuits, too, They're not going to subject themselves to saying a fight should have been. How does that work, by the way?
Well, first of all, Evan said the artery was shot.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
Dangerous.
it was nasty.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
great.
he said that the artery was showing, maybe it's deep.
Yeah.
So, what Dana White was in front saying, I don't know why they called it, and then afterwards understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looked bad. It did look bad, but when you got money on it, it's like.
Didn't look.
Yeah, it's a bad
I mean,
beat when
And
you got
Evan's
from
going like
the.
this.
It's not even
What
that.
happened?
It's not even that. I was really more just with Evan on like, I know he wants to continue.
Yeah.
I know he can continue. I know he will win if he continues.
Yeah.
But you're not going to let him, and that just sucks.
How did that happen?
What do you think?
Monkey elbow?
I thought it was a headbutt. I thought it was an inadvertent headbutt. Maybe there was an elbow. I'd have to go back and review all the footage, but ultimately, those types of things happen a lot. It's got to be a significant cut for them to stop the fight because you'll see some guys that are bleeding like crazy. But the doctor took one look at it, and I knew immediately, just seeing it from a distance, I was like, that's trouble.
amazing the
That's
amount of force that these guys can take to their
Oh,
head.
man.
To
Yeah.
create that type of a wound is incredible.
Yeah, head. It's not like anything sharp. There's
Yeah.
nothing sharp on his head.
Well, Evan's head is a little different than most people's heads because he is, I don't know if he's like built out of, granite. So he's got, I've always said that like, he's
It's hard
got the
to chip
look.
the granite.
He's got the look of a guy that it would hurt more if you hit him. Like it would hurt you more than it would hurt him
Yeah.
if you just talk back and hit him in the face.
Let's
Like,
just be clear. I would never hit him.
heck no, no.
I'm not
I
hitting
know better
anybody.
than that.
But,
He's one of the last people you want to hit
yeah.
for sure.
Did you see the little clip they did on TikTok? Or it was, I forget. It says he went up to. It's a little short video, and he's going to the In-N-Out burger after the
I
fight.
did. I
You see
did.
that? How many burgers can I buy for $50,000?
Yep.
Because he
Wow.
got $50,000
Yeah.
for
Fight
of the night.
Yep. Which
What did the purse pay? Like, what did he do? The winner got X.
usually it's they'll do like a 18 and 18, so like 18 to show, 18 grand to win.
So that
20
paid
and
more than the dang fight.
Oh, yeah.
to
No,
win.
wait.
Oh yeah.
Did they split the fight of the night? Or is it who was leading at the time? I mean, he
They
didn't win.
both fighters would get the bonus.
50,000.
Correct.
They both got 50
Correct.
grand.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, because there's fight of the night, then there's performance of the night, and
He
Dana will-
should have got performance of the night.
yeah,
I don't
Um,
know. I didn't watch the other fights, but it's my heart, right?
it goes back to the kind of conversation about fighter pay. The fact that that 50 grand is what most guys. That's what they want. That's what they show up for. They're not there to win their show money or even their win money. Those 50 grand bonuses put a lot of people in a way different situation than
I've
what
watched
they
a
might be
lot
in.
of fights, Mike, since I've started watching, and I'm going to tell you, these guys never stopped.
No.
Like
No.
the action was there the whole entire time.
Mhm.
Nobody was running from anybody. Nobody was backing off.
Mhm.
I mean,
But he was
it
pushing
wasn't
the
slow
pace.
against the cage.
Yeah.
It wasn't,
He was pushing the pace phenomenally. I mean, again, he looked great. I think his stock will continue to go up. And like I had mentioned, that getting that fight of the night bonus puts you on a radar within the UFC that says, okay, this guy shows up. He's entertaining. We talked about it's not always about winning. It's about asses and seats. Are you marketable? Are people going to pay to watch you perform? And he showed that people will because he puts on good performance.
That's why the first letter of the acronym ESPN is entertainment.
Exactly.
Sports program.
Exactly.
I knew something was coming out of there. Yeah.
It's entertainment. You're right, Michael.
All right, Lehigh score. Come on, before we get out of here.
We've got no shot, David.
We're on the no shot list.
Yeah, no shot. It's an 11-point game with 3 minutes left.
Okay.
The Mountain Hawks let me down on the $7 parlay, but hey, we're looking strong. That was a hope and a dream parlay. We are looking pretty strong on a little 5-teamer I put together. Listen to this one. This one's $25 to win $300. Ryder money line, they're up by 7 with 1:20 left. Of course they are. They're the moving company, David. Moving right along. Lehigh just let me down on that $7 parlay, so we won't talk about that. So Ryder, NC Central, they've been playing strong in the MEAC. That's the HBCU schools. I've been winning some money on NC Central. I was rolling with them tonight. They're up 10. Halftime. Georgia Southern, they're going to mess up UL Monroe. They're going to mess up Louisiana Monroe. And then Alcorn State nightcap. Alcorn State against Mississippi Valley State. Who went to Mississippi Valley State? Anybody? Wide receiver?
Hold on.
40 years ago?
Oh, yeah, I'm never going to get this.
Oh, you've heard of this guy. He's in
I've heard of
the
him,
thing
but
called the
never-
Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Go Val. Go Vikings.
Mississippi Valley State.
Oh,
They're the
Mississippi.
Demons.
Wide
That's the
receiver.
name.
Okay,
Wide
who
receiver.
played
He's
for
the
him?
only guy that's ever came out of there
Okay.
that anybody
Okay,
knows.
who did he play for?
The San Francisco 49ers.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice,
There
the
it is.
fighting
Hey,
Jerry
I got-
Rices.
I got it.
I
I
got
had
it
to
for
give
you.
you had to
I know
phone
you did.
you had to phone 3 different friends to get a lifeline, but he got it, folks. He used all his lifeline on one answer, but he got it.
That'll be one of our.
But
Sorry.
yeah, the fighting Jerry Rices. Yeah, they are the worst team in all of basketball almost. They're awful. Mississippi Valley State, they're on auto fade. There are things that are on auto fade in the gambling world. Mississippi Valley State basketball is on auto fade.
There it is.
I always say that. I've always said that.
There it
Mississippi
is.
Valley State.
Auto fade. They've been bad for like 3 years now. Just awful.
Well, they even have a name that doesn't inspire me to really want to
What is it? What is
bet
it?
the house on it.
Demons.
Demons?
Yeah, I think that's. Let me make sure here. You got me
Yeah,
doubting myself.
That's not very. Not all over that. We're looking it up.
It's more the fact that I'm surprised I could name anyone that's ever come out of Mississippi Valley State. But Jerry Rice.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Now you can't.
we should do
Is that 40 years ago already? 85, 84?
It's got to be 40 years ago. I'm 37. I think. Yeah, I'm 37. So, yeah,
That's funny.
you know, I was born in 85. So, yeah, it's 40 years ago, David.
All right.
We're getting old.
You guys ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
I'm ready to
Okay.
go lay some money down.
Yeah, so hey, just
Not
to
a
let you
lot
know, John and I will be with Mike Whistler and Malcolm Darnley from bestodds.com tomorrow on 590 The Fan at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. We're gonna learn how to bet some golf, John. Mike,
Yeah.
what do you think about that? We're gonna learn how to bet some golf.
I like it. I have no idea how you would bet golf.
Well, listen at 6 o'clock.
It seems
tomorrow
dangerous
night.
to me. It seems dangerous.
It's look, you only have to be right when you're 80 to 1, 30 to 1, like
Fair
these
enough.
prices.
Fair
You only
enough.
have to be right a couple times a year to be
Yeah.
profitable.
There you go.
And Mr. Whistler, I know, is Malcolm Darnley. Can't wait to have those two on tomorrow, 6 o'clock, 590 The Fan. For Micah Mills, Clemson John, my name is David Sharp. Until next week, thanks for sticking with us.
Thank you.